Submission is something we hear always when you want to get married. Wives submit to your husbands, husbands love your wives. And today's conversation is how submission could be modified, or is it being modified? I would say that in many cases, submission has been modified in the sense that a lot of women are empowered today. Many women are doing a lot of things men do, and things have changed. But at what level should things change? And I say that to say this, you know, there's some parts of this submission part that women are asking for a review of some sort. And the review, especially when it comes to permission, asking for permission, you say, oh, you know, he's your husband, you can't do anything without his permission, you have to get your husband's approval. Yes, but there are different kinds of approvals that women are talking about. Are saying, must I ask for everything? I want to travel abroad. He says no. I want to have my master's. He says no. I want to get a job. He says no. I want to have one more child. He says it's not time. I want to do this. You know, there's always that ask. And women are saying, well, I'm an adult. I understand your position, but there's some things I should be allowed to do as a human being, as a wife and as a mother and as a woman. What are your thoughts on this, seeking permission? This conversation started from a blog who was saying that women are complaining the fact that they couldn't do certain things because their husband didn't give them permission, things that they wish they were able to do. What are your thoughts on this? Because these are conversations some of us don't trivialize. We make it like it's not a big deal now. You know your husband, whatever you say, is just try to convince him, beg him, continue to beg him. Others are saying, no, it's my life. And they do it. And some of us have found that those who do what they want to do, sometimes their husband eventually adjust. Okay, she has done it. We'll adjust it. So those who now submitted. And I was like, maybe I should be like that, my friend, that just went ahead to do what she wanted. At least she traveled. She came back, and she begged him, and it was okay, and nothing happened. Heaven did not fall. What are your thoughts on this? Should we begin to modify what submission means? Should we modify what permission, how far permission should go? What are your thoughts? You can call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourView TVC so we can read your tweet. Mariam, I want to start because I know I will start with you. I'm sorry.
No,
my worry is, do you think it's still right to ask for permission? Or is it the word we're using that is wrong? What are your thoughts on this?
Me, I don't understand asking for permission of my husband. I understand discussing something and then based on our shared values and what we want for the family, we either agree or disagree or come to a compromise. I don't understand it. And I'm not just speaking for myself, even my husband does not understand giving permission to a whole, full adult. But I'm not comfortable with this decision you're about to take, and this is why. And then he hopes that I see his why, and if it's convincing, if it is a stronger argument, then why not? And if he gives his why, and I'm able to give a stronger argument, then like, okay, then I see reason. I feel that marriage, yes, is definitely about compromise. We have a path for our family, and if you do a certain thing, it may derail the family. I understand that, but permission to go and visit my parents, and permission to go and visit my auntie that lives down the road from my parents, permission to wear this wrapper or wear this dress. I don't get those sort of permission. It does not, I've never seen it around me. It does not work for me. And when people say, usually, honestly, when I hear people say this, I feel like they're just using their husbands to hide behind their own decision. When someone says, I can't make it to your decision. My husband says, you cannot, I cannot come. I'm like, yeah, right. Just say you could not come. I just don't get it.
Okay, let me come.
Even I do it now. So if I don't want to come for something you're doing, my husband, let me talk to my husband. Okay, I don't live in that kind of house. But this example, in fact, last year, towards the end of last year, a friend's mother was turning 70. And she had said, Nima, I know you will not come. But it was an evening event. It was around 4 to 6 in Bagada, and I was getting ready around 3 to drive out around 4. And my husband was like, you won't come off our house. Come back. When you won't come back? I said, no, when they finish. As in, when will they finish? Okay, now you want to be night crawling. So when he made it about that, I was like, there's nothing there. As a Muslim woman, I just thought, well, I sat back down. It wasn't about no permission, nothing, or that kind of thing. I do a lot of things freely. Don't discuss it. But when the excuse, because there was really no code for this, but African women pushed it so much that it became a code. And you saw overbearing men take it as power. They will say, I say no. I say, you dare not. You want to visit your mom. He is not visiting your mom. They will find religious code for it. I'm saying it because I'm a Muslim. Women want to visit their parents. They'll say, my husband did not permit. His power to not permit is that he is doing it on your behalf. He's not abandoning your parents and saying, since I have married you, I have shopped you, I have bought you, and you no longer are their daughters. So he doesn't have that power. Oh, no, you can't go. It's a far distance. It's about protection and safety. Maybe your parents are up far one mountainous, difficult road terrain. He can say no, and he goes on your behalf, not abandon your parents with a permission.
Yeah, but there's some issues where it's bordered around jealousy, insecurity. A man is insecure, doesn't want you to say, oh, you're going to a friend's party. Oh, I don't like that friend, you're not going. And you know your friend. Yes, maybe she has some shortcomings here and there, but you want to go and support her friend. It's like, you can't go, simple. So it's because of there's some reasons why they tell you not to go, not because it's for a valid reason, but it's for selfish reasons. What are your thoughts on it?
If it's about that, I will go and see my friend.
That's
so let me talk about this obedience thing. The truth is, we live in a country.
Obedience is a new word in this season.
Permission, getting permission, and women obeying their husbands. I think that we all might have those kind of marriages where we have partners that understand our level of independence, give us some level of independence, but that's not the reality in the majority.
Yes,
the majority of Nigerian families have men. Majority of Nigerian men feel like, I am a man. We are eating eba in the house, we eat eba. If I don't eat eba, they say what your husband does not eat, a woman does not cook it. So you cannot say, I can't say, I don't like, my husband doesn't like what I am, but I love it, I'll cook it, and then I'll cook his own food. Traditionally, we obey. You are meant to listen and serve and submit.
I thought it was 1945.
It's not 1945, but it's still happening. And I remember a few months before I got married, a friend of mine that used to do makeup, she was very vibrant. She got married. Her husband said she should not fix her nails anymore. Like, babe fixed her nails on her wedding day. And after the wedding, the husband said she should remove the nails and never fix it again. And started putting rules on ground. And I'm wondering, is this guy works in a bank? Like, I know him. He's educated now. Why are you doing like this? Well,
so it's a part of that insecurity.
There are many people with several issues, and based on their, even if they have issues, background, many men with their background, how they saw their own family be managed, and so they are relating with their wives the way their father related with their mother. So the reality is not what we modern times, and we need to address that. And then, for you to make peace reign, a lot of women have found a way to compromise. Yeah. So if my husband says I cannot travel, I'll find a way to cajole him. Oh, I'll wait when we are in the other room. When we finish, I'll sneak it in. That's what our mothers were doing. They will cook correct food. Yeah, after it takes like two scoops, they will not say, okay, my darling, what I want to ask you about that travel, I want to go for wedding with my friend that her younger sister is getting married. They say because he's in a good mood. Find a good mood to ask the question. This is the reality of how we grew up.
For me. Yeah, it's that good mood that will scatter everything.
and the truth is also the other way around. There are things that my husband would want to ask me. I would see the way. So it's not I'm not the one that has to cajole. Even he knows that there are some things he may have to cajole and persuade me for. So when you say, give me independence, give me permission, that's not how it works. And
but when you start asking,
you are relinquishing.
That's not the way it should work.
No, that's not the
when
way
you
it
start
works.
asking, when some men are not wired like that, that wasn't their exposure. But women come in and relinquish their independence to the men by asking, insisting. Then when they get a controlling husband, they still come back and join other women and say, men controlling this.
But you were the one that...
But you were the one that...
Because my mom was telling me a story of
how... Let me have to go on the break. When I come back, I really want to hear this because what you said is very powerful.
Yeah.
So men don't come in with that intention. But you come in that,
you can't say yourself.
You're not my husband. Do whatever you say.
Whatever you say.
And then it now does to a level, you're now wondering,
he's
controlling. Let's go on a break. We'll dig this further. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we're talking about this issue of permission. And during the break, Toko was reminding us the fact that People, we get callers calling this show every time saying, your husband permitted you. Your husband even allowed you guys to come on this show. And the truth is that if we didn't have our husband's permission, would we be here?
At our jobs?
Let's not call it permission.
It's permission.
It's not permission, it's support. It's support. I support him in his business. I support my husband when he's doing his own projects. If it is fund, I will help. If it is in brainstorming, he will bounce ideas off with me. If it is in, okay, I just need time to think. I don't want the children to disturb us. I will keep the children busy so that he can focus. I am supporting him. So if I also need support in fulfilling my own goals, he would also support me. So but it buttresses my point earlier, which is to say that what we are talking about is among the minority of very modern men. The majority of men in Nigeria, in Africa, if we choose to go in that way, still feel like I'm the head of the house. I own the family. I married you. I brought you into this house.
I gave you my
name.
And
I gave you my name. And, you are burying my children. So sort of like everything you do
Let me give an example.
Reflects on me. So they take responsibility.
So before I met my husband, I used to travel. Every year, I tried to do something. I was a traveler, and he met me traveling. In fact, on our honeymoon, my MD, all expense paid ticket to France as a wedding gift. So he met me traveling. As we entered, Oga said, hey, what is your gallivanting? It has to stop. And it's because we're trying to build a family. We don't need money to... So I understood. So it was that conversation of, this your every small money, you're flying. Every small money, stop it. So I agreed, and we did that. But after a while, I wanted to travel. And he just kept saying, no, we don't have money. Yes, you have money in the savings, but the savings money should not be money to go and buy ticket and buy and stuff. No, that is not. So he didn't permit for me to travel until, was it not last year? When did I even travel? It was last year.
Yeah.
Sometime after we got the house, yes. Said that let's do. So he was saying that every money we have, let's do a big project. Let's do something. So there was a goal to buy a house, just do. But I still wanted. At least I was earning money. I wanted to travel.
Let's put it in perspective.
Until now, after they got the house, and I said, bros, you don't want to buy the house now. Oh yeah, make I travel. Then I said, okay, go ahead, go and buy it. So someone will look at it from outside in. Oh, now he has given you permission to travel, but. Now, so would you call that permission or would you call that support? Or what kind of words would you use for that?
You're a unit. One can disagree and say, no, we're not buying a cup now, we're prioritizing a phone. We're not buying a phone now, we're prioritizing a car or something. Because you are together and your finances are together. So that is a different thing from controlling men. What we are discussing here are men who just say, I look at you, your yellow is not looking yellow. You're not going anywhere.
But that could be seen as control, Nima, because somebody who's used to traveling can say, I've always done that all my life. I've always used long hair all my life.
But it's not for not married now. For just they travel.
But there are different things you do. Something you're used to. Someone now says, don't do it anymore. So, or something you're used to see your mother every weekend. At some point, he says, no, you can't see your mother every weekend. Or you're used to going to go and see your aunt. You're used to going to doing certain things. Now you're married. I'm saying, no, you cannot go and see your mother every weekend. You see her once a month.
Context is very important. This conversation, especially with your own example, is about the fact, as I said in the beginning, about the goals for the family. We are putting money aside for something. If we use this money, it will mean that it will take us longer to achieve that thing. Or it will mean that we will not achieve that thing. And then you insist on doing what you have to do, in spite of how it would affect your home. That is not a partner. You're not being a partner. You're being a me person. And so whatever plans he would make, and then he will watch you and decide that whatever plans he's going to make concerning his life and for the family going forward, it will be without you. And then you come back 10 years later and you see he has sort of built the life away from you and you're complaining to the world because you refuse to be a partner. Partners do not give permission. Partners remind us when we are, of our goals, when we are distracted by many things, we're chasing our dreams. Remember, this is the reason why we're chasing this dream. Remember, this is why we're doing this. Those are what partners do. We have people that leave you to do you. Girl, do you. Just be going. Those ones, too, don't even care about you. Because they have decided within themselves that this is about me and that's about you. They are the ones that tomorrow you are vexed, you want to leave the house. They say, that watch you're wearing, please give me. That thing you're wearing, because they believe that you're separate. Right? That
there's a
example,
small
that's an
level
example
of
of
jealousy
partnership.
a man must have about what he possesses, what he
Values,
values,
what he loves.
what he loves. So there's that small level, but the control, there's also a thin line where control just tilts into abuse. So there was a time in my own marriage, I'd been booked to host an event. And I had committed, I said, I'll be available. And 2 days before I fell ill. I was on treatment. And the Saturday morning, I just got up and I was going to the event. And my husband was like, you're not leaving this house. Every language I heard was controlling. And I kept saying, I'm not leaving this house for waiting now. He was concerned.
So is that there's a thin line?
There was a way he kept dropping it. So I stayed back and I called my auntie. Apparently, he had also called my auntie. I said, please help me beg him. This is the event. These are the kind of women at that place that I must associate with. I will manage this body, it's my body, to the event. And my auntie was like, okay, don't worry. He will come in and give you your car keys. That was when I drew the line, because that was the control. So when he walked out of the house to avoid a fight, he had gone with my keys. And when he came back, I was like, you took my keys. Let me borrow your car. I want to borrow your car and go for the event. When I come back, we'll address the issue. So I went for the event. I came back and said, take your car keys. This is my 2 leg. I used to find my own progress. Since we cannot progress together, and it's your health. I was worried. Why do you want to overwork yourself?
So he explained it.
And I said, hey, we were having the conversation, and I kept trying to convince you I'll be fine. Not take my keys. To take my keys is to sort of control me and lock and shut me in. Some people will say, no, it's my daddy
It's out
that
of
bought
love.
You carry yourself with the dignity. I was saying earlier that some women relinquish that control. They give it and say, I submit. It's a marriage thing.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't this kind of man.
Thank you.
But
Thank
my
you,
mom
Nima. I want us to...
was the one telling him how to control and submit.
I have a friend that was just telling me, I'll come to you talk right now, a friend, just very recently. She was telling me that when she got married, her husband is this, he's a minister, I think, or maybe he became a minister after, I don't know. But he was like a very religious person. And so she had to do a lot of things just to conform to, you know, do her hair in certain ways, stop doing weave on, you know, just, she really, really conformed. But now I met her now, all looking all pretty. I'm right, you know, before I used to look so hot. But when I got married, I had to stop this. I stopped wearing this, I started wearing that. But now I'm back. I want to wear myself. You know, she now wants to come over, and it's a struggle because her husband is upset that, who are you becoming? But she's like, this is who I've always been. But I changed for you. Now? Because so is that thing you're saying we relinquish who we are? Say, okay, because I am now married, let me now be mommy, I be iya something. You now change everything. When you now get to a certain stage in your life, you feel that, no, I want to be a girl again. I want to be a young lady. So that now causes friction. So we should try not to be who you are from day one, continuously.
What you cannot take, what you will not be able to live with for the long term. And it's a conversation.
What's a compromise? How do you compromise?
Marriage is compromise. There is
it's
no
not
marriage.
For not doing
there's
makeup.
No stand. There's no.
My husband doesn't want me to do makeup.
There's no. But would I be comfortable? Some people can be comfortable without doing makeup forever. That's not a problem. But if you say compromise and say I'm not going to
have an ambition,
I'm not going to work, and I can afford not to work for the first 6 years or 10 years when I'm raising children. Or you cannot say I will never work. Why would you conform my entire life, confine my entire life to say? So we are talking from the good side, and honestly, grateful to God, we do actually have what should be a good side. Ideal, we can have a conversation, no matter, even if we argue it out, we listen to one another and try to resolve a solution. That is really not the reality for some people. Some people cannot go to work. They want to do a contract. They get a job. They say you have to do the job in Abuja. The husband will say you are not flying to Abuja, and they don't go. They leave their job because of the husband. People, your job would involve you traveling, and the man will tell you you cannot travel. I have a cousin who's, every time I call, I'm like hearing, I can't take your call. Come here on WhatsApp. I'm in Ghana. I'm in South Africa. I'm in Kiniko. Or guys, the one doing school runs because she's flying. Yeah. And he did that consistently all through the children being in primary school. Now they're in secondary school. He allowed himself to sit and support the wife. That is not normal in most settings, and we must normalize it. we must start
Must be
allowing,
practical.
if my wife is doing well, I will help her. If I am flying, let her help me. But it must not be that a job of a man is to suppress a woman so that she will feel good. It's the ego that my wife is in my house. Anything I tell her, she will do it. You mean you have a wife that does not listen to you?
That will not cook for you.
That will not pound yam in the morning. Anything I want, my wife.
Mr. Longa, you're washing plates. And your wife is watching TV.
Let me take this stuff. Let me take this stuff from Hassan. Hassan, are you there? Hello, Hassan, are you there? You're
that's
live.
the sweet drama. We hear that too.
Please, do you know why I choose to talk today? It's
Right.
because
Take a
of the
video.
sensitive nature of this topic and the adverse effect it will have on the home states.
Adverse.
I have talked, and there was a professor, a woman, said something. She said, look, if you are about independence, marriage is not for you. She was speaking to women. And also, if you are about independence as a man, marriage is not for you. Because the checkmating is there for both of you. Tope, you said something. When that Obara came on television, or not Obara, a lady politician for Kaduna, she said, women are complimenting men. You came out and said, no, they are collaborating. You don't believe in that word complimenting men. Secondly, today you made another word that look, you don't seek permission, you seek support. It's an affront of men. Men are really feeling pain about this. Because a man cannot be a provider and be ridicule to the background.
Is that ridiculous?
Man must have a say. Man is the head. Whether we like it or not, man is the head. We should learn to respect men. We should stop ridiculing men. Because men choose to keep silent. This is not the silence of conspiracy. This is just decided just to keep quiet, not to say anything. Man is considered to be a failure if you could not provide for his family. That is a challenge on the part of men. But for you to think that you can just say anything here, look, it's very, very wrong. I start to disagree. Women have the right, yes, but men have much more upper right. And we should now begin to respect them, not to ridicule men, not to think we can trap the steering with the men. It's not right.
Majority.
A woman should be diplomatic. You understand? She will get whatsoever she wanted to get. Not to think of this right. This right is a problem. It's a serious problem. Much more about this, our educated women. You will see my emphasis on much more this educated women. This right. Good morning.
All right. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Hassan.
See?
Hassan has just given us the exact response we expect from a lot of men, and that's the reality in Nigeria. We'll discuss Hassan's comments after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Joining our conversation, our gist, is a Nigerian multi-award-winning actress, creative and highly talented lady who has graced our screens in different roles for over 25 years and won several awards. Please welcome with us the delectable Bimbo Akintola in the building.
In the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
So she'll be speaking about her career a bit later, but first she has to join this our gist. So before you came, we were talking about this issue of permission. We're initially talking about how men seem to be also domineering, or women always sometimes relinquish their independence to a man. Once you enter marriage, you feel like, whatever he wants, let me just take it. And then we had a caller, Mr. Hassan, scattered the table. He said that men, it's ridiculous, we're trying to ridicule men. He said that men have the upper hand because they're the providers and they must be treated as such. And so we wanted to discuss it because Tokpo was trying to make us understand that the men understanding a woman's progress is a minority. That most men aren't really like that. Most men are still in Hassan's wavelength. They're still in Hassan's compartment where they feel that they're the man, whatever they tell their wives to do, that's it. So we need to find some kind of a middle ground, and that's what this conversation is about. I'd like to take a few comments on social media before I hear your views. Yes.
But the Mosi Eric says, Moria was on point with the traveling instance she made. I wonder why Topper was trying to dress it up. Simple. Her husband never wanted this traveling spree for whatever reason. She respected and obeyed as a virtuous virtuous woman. There's no other way to interpret it. Philebe.
Immaculate Boy says, married 18 years ago, started a business for wifey in 2010. Now she has 2 big shops and doing good. She goes out early, comes back late and all. I really don't care again. What I intended for good is now working against me.
So he sees that as against him.
Yes.
Oh, wow. On YouTube, they said, man is the head. Man is the head, headmaster. They said, Hassan, Mr. Hassan, don't vex so. We have heard you. You are the head. And a lot of comments referring
Okay, so
to...
I would like to hear Bimbo's comments on this, but let me let you...
Okay, Abiodun of Lagos says, if I grant all permissions to do things desired, we might even end up not trusting each other. Will that not lead to a failed marriage? And who wants that? Even God doesn't grant all prayer requests.
All right, so I guess when you think of 2 adults coming together, it's right now, in this instance, you have to... I'm trying to see how we can redefine submission. Can we redefine it, or submission you have to submit?
I think a lot of people are still stuck with the traditional roles that our mothers and their mothers played. And the reason for this, they forget, is because women then were housewives mainly. And the man was the provider. But now, it's a different thing. We have economic depression. We have all sorts going on in the world, in Nigeria as well. So it takes 2
Absolutely.
incomes to make a home.
Absolutely.
And if you have 2 incomes making a home, we're not saying the woman should all of a sudden become the boss, but it should be a partnership. That's the only way we can move forward.
And I'd like to hear from Hassan again, because in the situation where he's saying that a man is the provider, but in a lot of cases, maybe you are the provider in your home, but in many homes, the women are the providers, or
they
it's
are
50-50.
collaborating.
There's a partnership.
Yes.
You know what I even find that argument to be flawed is because you're saying that you are demanding respect because you provide.
Yeah.
But if you expect respect from your wife, whether you're the provider or not, isn't that better for a family? So her respect is not determined by whether you provide or not. So when you lose your job or you lose your source of livelihood and she takes up the role, does that mean that she should now disrespect you? But if she respects you regardless, you would not need to tell us I am the provider or not the provider. She will respect you. And is that not better to have that sort of partner, that sort of partnership, and that sort of example for your children when they grow up?
I was even going to say, let's not make it about provision. Let's make it about you marrying an adult. Let's hope that both of you are 2 matured individuals. So, but the way we see it is like you know, in those days, you wake up on the side of your husband. You don't even have to know him. In our culture in our church, you just do your marriage rights. It's your in-laws you see. You wake up in the morning, you see Daddy wa. The person is like 20-something years your father's mate. You dare not be...
Excuse me.
Sorry. So you don't have an identity. You don't exist.
Yes.
You know, or you marry, and some women, like what we experienced back in university, those who married while we were schooling. I'm now Mrs. Dagbaja. Don't you refer me to me by first name. You relinquish identity. You lose yourself. You know, it's not about, it is, and you, 2 individual. I said to someone recently, it is foolish to assume that you can take decisions that the consequences of it affect somebody else's life and say that that person has no say in it. What you're trying to breed is enmity and problem for yourself.
But Nima, when a woman tries not to be herself, when she tries to be herself, they say, you're not submitting.
Hey, it's not fight.
You're not submissive. They are kids out not being submissive.
I didn't change my name. Before I added Zibri to my name, I joined the show. I added it so people can understand I'm married. Prior to that, I was Nima Kashat for years, and it was a decision I made as a single girl. I received hits for it. And I did not fight everybody that spoke to me. I explained why. That I cannot lose that identity. That is who I am. Or else there's no marriage. You understand? You make it, you
insist on your way.
You sell something. You don't fight. So you're not rudely saying it. You're explaining it respectfully. But you let people understand it. Now, a lot of people have normalized it. People are doing it. I'm not even hearing that I was a mad person at the time again.
Let me take this call from Lawal Jubira. Come back to you, Bimbo. Lawal Jubira, are you there?
I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes.
I coincidentally monitored the program this morning. It's unlike me having that. And I realized that when you're discussing what is very germane, society as a whole, mostly in the African setting.
Okay.
Listen to your views. And I want to comment this way. First and foremost, I'm a Muslim and a cleric for that. The Quran told us that we will marry our Rijal and our Mun Allah. For one point, it was strength, make pillar, make support. For two reasons.
Protection.
A man, yes, protection, support for a woman.
Wait, on oppressor.
For two reasons. Because of what Allah has given to men in honor, and because they spend out of their wealth to maintain the home. I'm not pushing that philosophy. But I want us to compare the African environment and the European environment and look at the peace very together that we seem to be having in our state in Africa and the chaos that they have in the African setting and the European setting. America, for instance, we had a 6-year-old child shooting his teacher in school. What do you think would have led to that? I am thinking that the father figure role in society cannot be pushed aside. When we go down into the history.
And we're going to go down into the history, but I think that all of us on this show, we hear with filters. Many of our viewers, they hear us and they select their trigger words. And once it triggers them, they don't hear anything
else. Yeah.
We have not said that anybody, any woman, should disrespect or quarrel or fight her husband. The conversation is we are partners, we're supporting one another. Of course, every ship or plane must have a head.
Captain.
There must be a captain. There must be someone in charge. But the person mustn't be unreasonable. That you will not hear when somebody says there's a bird here, or there's something here, something will hit us if we go that way. The reason you are too is so you can see more from different perspectives. And culturally, we don't listen. Many men that don't listen to their women, they might not acknowledge it, but they suffer off from it because there's an opportunity to get a very, very important intuitive perspective that men are not wired to have. So it is your strength, not your weakness. It is a collaboration that makes you stronger. But what we do is we are competing and we're fighting and we're quarreling and thinking, I am superior, I'm your head, you are the neck, I cannot move, you are moving.
Failing to benefit from
not
the resource you have in the house. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, I'd like to hear your own perspective.
What she just said is so important because men don't have that intuition that women do have. It's totally not there. Look, my belief is that it's a partnership. No matter what you say, yes, there's a slightly bigger partner.
Yeah.
We accept that, but it's still a partnership. How would you feel if your daughter, who you've trained to the fullest, now is married and suddenly has no say in her home? How would you feel as a father?
About herself.
How would you feel as a father seeing your child, all of a sudden, you've trained her, you've given her the best of the best, she's married to someone and all of a sudden she's nobody. She can't stand up without the man saying stand up.
Auntie Bimbo, because of the years.
It's permitted.
Because I watched you when I was in just one.
Look at this one.
This example she just gave, I have 2 uneducated neighbors that we lived in my parents' area from my tribe. They're from Fuga. And the woman, yes, they met, they were not so educated, but she was lucky. She found favor. Someone gave her a contract in an oil company, a multinational in Port Harcourt, where she was in charge of catering. As she grew, money came. And this man just used to sit at home and chat with men who are from my region as well. And they would be telling him how she's controlling him, how she has too many freedom to be in Port Harcourt while they live in Lagos. You could have moved, but he refused. So he forced her to resign. So she sold that contract to a friend who took over her catering there.
My goodness.
She came to Lagos. She had just one child, had several miscarriages. We didn't know money was an issue. He couldn't provide. And she, in Lagos, she was suffering and suffering. Then she had one ectopic or so pregnancy that she needed money for surgery. She had to call favors to help her save her life. She divorced him. You cannot incapacitate a person just because God gave you. You have to be reasonable at it. What we are emphasizing here is controlling men. My husband still has the say in his house. We will discuss. Sometimes I will kneel and call God that God help me to change his mind on this thing that I must do. I will give it time. Sometimes I will wait at it because we are a unit. But not that you will see me and the opportunities that will change my life. And then when the thing now fails, you want to have peace in your house. Women can be a bag of trouble. Yeah. I will make you uncomfortable. In your own house, you'll be eating salt and pepper excesses. You don't want that kind of discomfort. Women do outrageous. I'm just giving an example.
Let me take this call from Joel.
You don't want that kind of trouble.
Joel, are you there? He's been holding for a minute. Good morning.
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I've been very patient with you. So
I'm so sorry. Yes.
Okay. Now, this is my opinion, and this is how it works in my marriage. whatever decision that I will take that will affect my wife, I need her consent before I take such decision. And whatever decision my wife will take that will affect me, she needs my consent.
Very important.
But if there's anything I will do that does not affect my wife, I don't need to discuss it with her. And whatever my wife will do that does not affect me, she does not need to discuss it with me.
As an independent.
Before she married me, she's a grown-up adult. She has her life.
Codependent.
True.
So do I have my life too.
John.
So my own belief is that we need to carry ourselves along in situations where these things affect both of us.
Yeah.
But that does not put aside our individual lives that we were living before we came together.
Right.
Thank
This
you.
is how it works for
Thank
me.
you very
My
much,
wife is not a slave to me, and I'm not a slave to her.
Thank you so much, Mr.
John,
John.
where were
I'd like
you?
to hear Mr. Akatugba's, we can call Mr. Theo because he deals with stuff like this. I'd like to hear his own perspective too. It's good to have different men join this
Weigh in.
conversation to give us different angles because, you know, this is such an important, there are two critical things I want us to live with this morning. The fact that women, that point you said that we relinquish who we are once we enter that marriage. That's so important because when we do that, we need to review that, how we do it, especially those getting into marriage for the first time. It's who you are today that you must enter marriage with. Yes, I know counselors, big sisters, aunties said, when you come to us, you have to just calm down. No, you will calm down. But you see, how do we draw the line between coming down and not losing who you are? Because that's the relinquishing you're talking about. Because 1 minute you are submitting, but tomorrow you're like, I want to do this. Yes, I'm going to stop working because you want me to stop working. But I really want my education. I have 2 degrees. I want to be able to work at some point in my life. So how do you have both?
I had a conversation with someone younger who is, you have your call?
Good.
Okay, who is, you know, asking me questions about choosing a partner and deciding who he'll marry. And he said that he's a Muslim. Yes, he's half his family is Christian, but mainly he's a Muslim. That's his identity. And there are 2 women in his lives, and they're insisting that he embraces Christianity more. And he's trying to decide. I said, you're deciding about your identity. So there are 2 things. You can lie to them and say, sure, I can be what you want me to be. And then you get married, and then you cannot pretend any longer. And also for the women, if it is so important to you to be with a Christian, why are you dating a
Muslim in the first place.
Why are you there? That should just mean X and you move on.
trouble.
So we find ourselves in relationships, we know we're not meant to be there, hoping to just get married. And then when you get married, you start blaming everyone. You cannot say that. I always say this. I said, I've never been interested or attracted to any pastor, deacon, born-again person in church. Never. I would have been that mommy Gio that would not come for your midnight prayers and stuff like that. And then because I want to get married and there's someone showing interest in me, I will get married and then go into that marriage and just cause wahala. So from the beginning, know who you are, know what you want, and don't...
I will call out. I'll come to you, Bimbo, in a second. Mr. Akatugba, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, so good to have you. Please help us out in this because we've heard from 2 different kinds of men. You know, the domineering men, you know, that the ridicule men,
Headmaster.
upper hand. And the other men are saying, listen, my wife is independent. You know, how do we find a middle ground? Because my worry is the fact that a lot of people are in marriages newly and they are being asked to somewhat remove who they are or stop who they are because they want a peaceful and happy marriage. So how does the submission mean reducing who you are, your identity?
All right, thank you very much. It's a very interesting topic. And this topic is at the crux of the crisis that has been experienced in many marriages. And from the conversation that I'm following, I noticed that a lot of you are rather afraid of an extreme person who abuses this simple regulation. Each time anyone wants to speak, they go on to say we are partners, we're supposed to have an agreement. The moment you are saying that, it means that you are not showcasing or letting people know the word we're discussing permission. We're not discussing submission. The whether you should obtain permission. The wife is subject to her husband. Christian doctrine, I'm sure the Islamic doctrine is similar. Even the Hindu doctrine is also similar. But the doctrine of the generality, which is the world view, is this issue of whether we are partners. Marriage is not a partnership.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Marriage is a union where the man is the head. And as God said, wives, submit unto your husband in everything. Meaning, another scripture says, obey your husband, that the word of God is not that same. There is a moment when you will disagree. That moment, the submission will be made. Because love relationship means we always enjoy one another. We always do what will make each other happy. That's love relationship. Which means in marriage, it's not a space for the man to be unreasonable. God said, love your wife. So in executing permission, you will not be doing things to hurt her. You will be giving her permission for withholding permission to protect her. For example, the woman might not know that working in a certain office will endanger her, but the husband would have heard or known the character of the who was there. And if you don't permission, but the woman might think that it's going like that. Men are spiritual leaders, whether it's a drunkard, whether it's a fool, whether it's a good, God, he has a certain spiritual foresight.
Mr. Theo, just one question.
Let him finish.
Allow him, please.
I want you to
I
finish.
want to
Okay,
ask
go
one
ahead.
question. I need clarity.
Okay, Mr. Akatugba, Niva wants to jump in. Go ahead.
Just one question. So, is a union, for instance, because men may know that there's danger out there for their women. If the women know that there's even a danger to the institution of their marriage, such that the secretary that the husband wants to employ, it might end up seducing him, and she tries to prevent and decide who he employs. Is it also okay, or she doesn't have?
Very deep spiritual head.
So she has, once she has got an inclination that there is danger, because God Almighty has a way of influencing us. So to have a feeling that employing this lady will endanger your marriage, the Bible says you should entreat your husband, not to instruct him. Entreat him. Appeal to him. But if he still overrules you, God would have known that he accepted the marriage and the responsibility before falls on him.
Thank you, Mr. Akatugba. We really have to wrap up there, but you can't win.
So let's just let me just understand.
Let me
People forget something. Women are human beings, first and foremost. We are human beings. We're not your bag that, attached to you to show that you have arrived or you're a man. That's not the truth. We're human beings with dreams, aspirations. What you notice is with our mothers, a lot of them were unhappy.
A lot.
A lot of them were unhappy and lived their lives vicariously through us. I remember when I told my mother I wanted to act, because she wanted to sing. She wasn't allowed. She was like, go for it. She was like, don't let anybody stop you. My dad was unhappy about it. My dad would be talking, my mom would be like, behind, she'd be like, because she wasn't allowed to live her life. So she didn't want the same for us. So when you have this situation where the man is the total authority, that means there will be abuse of power, whether you like it or not, which means women will suffer. Come on now.
Same thing with our country, devolution of powers. In the power, the center
Is too strong.
No, we need all the states to have powers. If not, the center will get corrupt. And that's
See, I don't want people watching this show to think, no, these women are feminists. They're pushing our women
I'm not
to
a feminist.
be rebellious.
I'm a humanist.
God bless you. They are rebellious. What we are asking is love for yourself, for your spouse, what you exactly love for yourself.
But that's what Akatugba said.
No.
If you love your wife enough, even if you had been the upper hand, you do it out of love.
When we address this issue from that authority of a man in a marriage, we know you are a man. Biology says so. Let's not complicate issues. We want one person to lead. Sometimes, some men even know that the exposures of their wives is much better than theirs. And so in some decisions, they'll be like, until I talk to madam, I don't want to take a decision. That's being a leader. Knowing that you don't know it all.
Exactly.
The one we are addressing here is the controlling men. I know it or not. I don't care the consequence, but this is what we do.
Whatever
The
I
woman
say.
will now suffer for 10 years. A decision you took, and you can't even compensate for it. All you have to say for it is, I'm the man. I decided. Let's be speaking English to a human being. Let's see. Even your child, there's an age you get to, your child gets to. You can no longer decide for that child.
Exactly, male or female.
We have
Male
to
or
wrap
female,
up.
talk less of woman.
We have to wrap.
Just
Unfortunately,
looking
we have
at
to
you.
wrap up on this because we have a guest which we have to get into our
We
interview.
do.
But this is one of those topics that is eye-opening for some of us. When you hear from men, you know, sometimes you think that we're in this bubble. You know, all our men are like our husbands, but they're not. All our men aren't like our husbands. You know,
want
so
to
So when,
I
they,
just-
so when the
also
caller
before-
calls you to say, we are so grateful for your husbands, you should understand.